Greetings, what's up and welcome! The sun is shining and the magpie is casting. Coming to you guys today with another 2v2 live look-in. So today we're going to have myself, Magpie842, and PTF Rodriguez. I'll be playing as Overcommand West, my friend Rodriguez as Wehrmacht. And we'll be up against today the double United States Forces combo of Snorl and Kindin Einar. So let's start the replay and see what happens. Obviously we'll be looking through my eyes, so this is a first-person replay. This means that you get to see exactly how I'm clicking, organising my control groups, and what my thought process is a little bit more directly as the game goes on. Grabbing the Storm Pioneers, they immediately always become control group 4, little GLHF to my opponents. I'm always pretty polite, and it seems so are they. And this is just me like warming up. You can see I'm just sort of spamming my APM, just hitting the keyboard, just getting used to flexing the fingers and. I don't know, it's just a little thing I do. Like, before every game, I always see GLHF, and I just sort of get used to moving the keyboard, get used to moving the mouse around quickly, get used to sort of thinking about stuff. Just kind of warms you up and puts you in the zone a little bit. Rodriguez saying it's sniper time. No counter. There was no counter. It was a sniper. Which is just a little bit of friendly banter going on there, but I wasn't actually paying attention, so I just glanced in time to see something or other, and then I was like, what? Sorry? I was on the tactical map. Yep, elite teamwork there. So Volks Grenadiers, first squad off the bat. I seem to have neglected to give them a control group, but hopefully I will do shortly. And there we go, now they're control group 1, I'm moving out. This is just me, here, listen. just spamming between different control groups there. Rodriguez is like, what? I'm like, someone, and then I got cut off because I'm under attack, so I have to respond to that. And basically, it's just massive communication fail going on between me and Rod. It's basically funny. Got the Schwerer Max Schlepper, looking for a good place to put it. I think I'm going to put it just behind the heavy cover provided by those trucks. Yep. Moving up with Group 2, second squad of Volks coming on in. Going to get the Storm Pioneers into that building, just have a look at what's going on out there. Rodriguez like, sorry, you need to repeat, I was not looking at the chat, which is just like, we've both not been looking at the chat for like the last 4 things each other have said, so this is hilarious. And I'm like, me either, lol. Anyway, Volks Grenadiers going to come and get into position. Now, here's a mistake, I remember this. Look, I've still got the Volks Grenadiers selected, and I just told them to move back there, so I'm like, what? Why isn't the truck moving? Anyway, those Volks Grenadiers are moving out of position badly at the moment whilst I'm positioning this truck, which is entirely my fault. Anyway, the truck's going to get put down there. Got a lot of American pressure on my doorstep, though, so panicking. I mean, well, not panicking, just you know, this is going to be a harsh defence, because at the moment my forward fallback point is not established. The battle group at HQ is likewise not established, so that's it's going to be a tough defence, because, I mean, there's a lot of squads on my doorstep there. Volks Grenadiers there, they're down to 3 men, shortly 2, their health is really low, I'm going to have to get them the hell out of there. But here comes the next group. The Storm Pioneers doing really well in that building, getting really good damage onto the Rifleman squads there. Look at that squad there, it's on like 25% health, but still has 5 men, really unlucky. So anyway, look, see, then Rodriguez pings the fact that there are some rear echelon troops like attacking my truck, and he's telling me to cancel it, but if you cancel the Overcommand trucks, you do not get a refund and you still lose the truck. So I'm just like, yep, doesn't refund me, I'm going to have to try and hold this. Now, look at the truck's health, I'm going to click on it in a second, look in the bottom of the screen, look at the truck's health, it's so low. Storm Pioneers coming back to defend. Volks Grenadiers being caught out. The truck finishes. Frantically, I start reinforcing my units and moving them back into position. I need to get Group 1 back into the fray. Moving the Storm Pioneers behind the heavy cover to take shots at the Riflemen. Trying to get the Volks Grenadiers to the light cover behind so that they can use their KAR-98Ks at long range for maximum effect. And just constantly reinforcing both squads. Like, if I keep fighting here, this is a fight I can maybe take. The American Riflemen move in to try for a grenade to destroy the building. There's the grenade. Bang! It does damage the building, but not enough. The building stands. And the Storm Pioneers doing massive damage. They're up to 4 kills, one and a third levels of veterancy. Here comes Group 2, they're back on the field now. So both my squads of Volks finally back at the front. Going to start repairing that truck because it's desperately low. Telling Rodriguez thanks for the help because he sent in a sniper there to help, and saying damn that was shabby, because it was shabby. That was like horribly shabby defense from me. I should not have left myself in that position. A number of mistakes were made in that defense by me. Anyway, Volks Grenadiers going to find some riflemen to start fighting here, trying to get them into cover. I have to move the camera there to get them right up against that wall. A little bit annoying. Sometimes with tall cover it's hard to get things behind. My Volks Grenadiers just had a grenade thrown at them and I'm not watching, so they're going to have to fall back right now. I'm researching the forward fallback point on that battle group at HQ. Super risky, pumping another 300 manpower into a very damaged building. But if I can get that up, then I can use my sort of... I have this like retreat fallback micro that I sometimes do, where you can, if you press fallback on a unit that's standing right next to your battle group at HQ, I'm just positioning these Storm Pioneers next to the building for maximum damage. If you press fallback on a unit that's near your battle group at HQ, they just fall back for a split second, which makes all of the enemies stop targeting them, and also gets rid of all their suppression. So actually, and because the squads are constantly reinforcing, being in the vicinity of this building, dodging the grenade there, it means that you can basically stay in the fight for like almost forever. Like if your enemy can try to kill your squads and take that building, but it takes quite a special effort in order to do so. Storm Pioneers now up to 2-star veterancy, so that's really good. The Volksgrenadiers, Group 1 just coming back to the field. I had to fall them back all the way because they were going to die. Storm Pioneers here in medium cover. I'm going to move them over just because they're about to lose a man. I can move them over just there and then they can reinforce while still fighting. Thinking about getting a Panzerschreck at some point. And so I've still only got 2 Volks and 1 Storm Pioneer. We're now 5 minutes into the game, so this is quite precarious, but I do have my truck and it is a forward fallback point. Now I'm just going to use a little bit of micro, just dotting my Storm Pioneers in and out of this building just to kind of confuse my foe. And I'm like telling Rodriguez that there was a massive force there, because both of the American players have decided to try and take out my truck here and try and cripple me in the early game. Fantastic strategy, it's what I'd do if I was them. So here comes a massive wave. Rodriguez, being a hero there, gets the MG42 into position. I get an incendiary grenade into that building, just there. And now you can see as I try and position all of my dudes into heavy cover, bringing forward the Storm Pioneers to where they can do maximum damage. And look, I see the Captain Squad, so I'm like, focus fire on the Captain Squad, because he's got bazookas, they can take out the building. He gets 1 shot into the building, gets a 2nd shot into the building. The Storm Pioneers are doing heroic damage though, and they are gunning down that Captain Squad. There's actually a chance for a squad wipe there, but it goes begging, sadly. Grenade gets thrown at my Volks, and I'm too late to move them, but I do fall them back, so they take slightly reduced damage, I think. And Rodriguez building a bunker at the back there, and I had to cancel my retreat point and then press fallback and then resume my retreat point there so that the Storm Pioneers would fall back, because the American player was focusing them and trying for a squad wipe. So by doing that I was actually able to save the Storm Pioneers. And anyway, here comes the Kubelwagen, which I ordered a while ago. Exactly what I need to help control this situation. A little bit of suppressive fire on a mobile platform. And so that's going to start chewing into these riflemen as best it can. Somehow I'm still holding this desperately damaged building. There's been fighting here like constantly, and it's like horribly low on health. So anyway, it's probably time to purchase a Panzerschreck as well, because the Americans could come in with an AA half-track or a Stuart tank and just totally take out my building, which I've tried so hard to defend. So that's a real thing that could happen. They've also established a fighting position just there, which is now suppressing my Volksgrenadiers and throwing rifle grenades at them, which is very annoying. Anyway, here comes the American lieutenant, going to bring the Kubelwagen into range to help my Volksgrenadiers take him on. Kubelwagen, of course, best used just at maximum range, pretty much. It's such a fragile unit. Storm Pioneer is going to start repairing, and I believe I'm going to buy them, there it is, going to buy them the repair tool, so that they can repair even faster. Repairing it seems incredibly relevant for me right now. A light gun added to the queue, because I just need, more pressure to help me hold this position, basically. Kubelwagen doing good damage against those American forces in the building. The American fighting position just gooning me, though, with rifle grenades and suppressing fire from its 50 caliber machine gun upgrade. Yeah, a tricky situation there. Volksgrenadiers both in heavy cover, fighting from behind the railway carriages. Kubelwagen still hooning in from the south. I've got 1 Panzerschreck, and here comes a Stuart out of the fog of war. So I immediately back up my Kubelwagen, but the machine gun and the cannon on the Stuart, combined with its speed, more than enough to take out my Kubelwagen. So there's nothing I can do there. Another grenade coming down onto my Volksgrenadiers, and a computer freeze there for a second. Company of Heroes 2, not the most well-optimized game. Have to tell my Storm Pioneers to stop repairing, because otherwise they'll get gibbed. Volksgrenadiers now have to target the Stuart. They're my only option to bring that down. MG42 there from Rodriguez, still being heroic and holding back the infantry. He's also brought in some flamethrower pioneers. He's got a sniper and an MG42 bunker. So basically all 4 players are fighting for... Look at the minimap. All 4 players are fighting for my battle group at HQ at the moment. Anyway, so the Stuart decides to go for a run-by, reverses into the base. My flak buildings in my base are quite good defense there. The Storm Pioneers have been heroes, holding at close range with constant reinforce, doing masses of damage to the American forces. So that's really good. I'm just spamming around. So now I'm bringing forward my Schwerer HQ. My truck to build a Schwerer HQ. Going to get the Storm Pioneers back to repairing, sending my Panzerschreck to try and hunt down that Stuart. But another wave of Americans forces me to commit them here. Oh no, looks like I am going to go after the Stuart. Fair enough. Storm Pioneers kind of coming. I was hiding them behind the building there, so the Storm Pioneers are ambushing the American forces just now, but they get ambushed themselves, again by the 50 caliber fighting position, which is still there. Very, very frustrating to deal with. I do have a light gun now in the fight, so that's going to be contributing. Another grenade blows up another Storm Pioneer of mine. And look, did you see that? I shift queued up, so I told them to move around the building, the Storm Pioneers, and then start repairing when they're on the covered side of it, so just a little bit of shift queuing there. Just to get the optimal position for repairing. Of course, when Storm Pioneers are repairing, they're very, very vulnerable. So I decided to just be super, super risky. I'm just like, all right, I've already risked it this far. Why don't I risk an even more expensive building in an even riskier location? They'll never expect that. So I've just started building my Schwerpanzer HQ there. So I ping it and I'm like, risk to Rodriguez. Hashtag double down on risk. Yeah, that was my theory. It's just like, this game's been crazy enough already. Why don't I just build my Schwerpanzer HQ in a stupid place as well? Because, to be honest, I was kind of enjoying this battle anyway. Like, I know I'm right on the ropes, and I know it's incredibly close to either winning or, like, losing this battle all the time. But, you know, I'm having a ball. I'm enjoying myself. Anyway, using the light gun here to try and counter that fighting position. Because it's very, very annoying. It gets a good hit on some rear echelon troops who are repairing that as well. Schwerpanzer HQ manages to actually get established without even being detected, let alone fired upon, so that's really good. Panzerschreck from the building takes out the fighting position, and now I'm free to move up with the Volksgrenadiers. The light gun there, going to try and focus down that 50 caliber machine gun, and I'm coming up to having enough manpower and munitions, or fuel for... I can afford a Luke's Panzer II, but I'm like, I don't think that's a very good idea. I think I'm going to go with Obersoldaten, because what I'm lacking right now is really anti-tank, so I don't want to invest in I don't want to spend my fuel on an anti-infantry platform. I'd rather have an anti-armor fuel investment. So we'll see what I go for as time goes on. Volksgrenadiers just moving forward, securing what they can. Rodriguez asking for help to deal with the Stuart, which is running amok in his backfield. So I send a squad of Volksgrenadiers with a Panzerschreck over to try and help him. We know if you just look in the fog of war there on the left-hand side of the map, we know that the Stuart is in there. It was there just 2 seconds ago. Storm Pioneer is going to be doing some good damage, bringing forward the light gun so it can fire from a more advantageous position. Also, Obersoldaten on the build queue right now. And there's the Stuart, so my Volks are able to find it and amazingly get the KO blow. A grenade there on my Storm Pioneers, but I'm able to fall them back just in the nick of time, despite microing the Volks against that tank. Rodriguez says, good job, thanks for the assistance against that Stuart. And it seems the least I can do after he sent me a flamethrower pioneer squad, a sniper, an MG42 squad, and built me a bunker and upgraded it with an MG42 to help me hold this building, which was just in a silly place, to be honest. But whatever. I kind of forgot that we weren't playing against AIs or something, because I would never put that building there against players, like 9 times out of 10, but I just put it there, and then I was like, oh, now I have to defend it. Damn. Anyway. Fanning out my Volks, looking for a fight now, kind of looking for a brawl. Storm Pioneers ready to come around. They're actually going to use the building, so there we go. And then as soon as all the American forces start hitting them, just get them out of the building. And then the American forces go back shooting the Volks. And then I can put them back in the building, start shooting them down again. There's enough windows on the north side of that building that the Storm Pioneers can do good building and pop them out again. Just really annoying my opponent. Anytime he comes near that building, I'll just pop the Storm Pioneers in and do some damage. And then as soon as he tells his guys to fire at the Storm Pioneers, I just pop them back out again. Here come the Obersoldaten, giving them Command Group 6, bought them the MG upgrade as soon as I could afford it. Another light gun on the production queue right now. Volksgrenadiers getting suppressed there, going to fall them back before they even lose a man because my manpower is so low right now. Obersoldaten getting into a good position. Storm Pioneer is going to jump into the building once again. Grenade goes at the door this time. A very good double bluff from the American player to try and catch my unit as it exited the building. And they're going to take the building over. So that's frustrating. Storm Pioneers at close range though. They're going to do good damage. A grenade comes at my Obersoldaten and I fall them back just in the nick of time. Volksgrenadiers doing the best they can there. Group 2 are now healed, so they're going to come back to the front. Group 1 quite wounded. And look, see how I'm able to just fall back my units so willy-nilly. I can make such liberal use of fallback because my my fallback position is literally just like a screen away. So really maximising the benefit of that building there. Americans have brought up a 50 cal and are hitting me hard now with a mixed position. They also have an ambulance there at the back, which is healing and reinforcing. So Rodriguez is pinging it. He says, we need to push this position, and I'm like, okay, let's do this. Bringing the Obersoldaten round to the south, 2 squads of Volks up to the north with my Storm Pioneers in the middle of the line. We're just going to sprint in, and here we go. Satchel Charge decides to get used, or Bundle Grenade even. I tell them to use the Bundle Grenade on that cluster of targets there. However, they decided to run around the fence before they throw it, which is kind of annoying. But the Bundle Grenade still does well. There it is now on the MG. Bang, so it does some damage. Yeah, Obersoldaten, not going to play risky with them, going to get them out. Also fall those Volks back before they die. 2 Ligs on the field now, so that's hooning in for damage, and I'm putting down some barrages manually now, just on the concentrations of American units, which are very clustered. Good. We call that a target-rich environment, TRE. So always good for a Lig to have a TRE out there. Just reinforcing all my dudes. And put my Volks in the building, immediately tell them to fire a Shrek into the nearby ambulance, which is done. One thing that I forgot to do this entire game was salvage that Kuba wagon of mine that died like right at the start. That's a really bad thing. So here I am, just throwing down the mechanized command in my base. I was basically thinking to myself at this point, okay, I've got 2 Panzer Shreks. That's enough anti-tank for now. I can build more if they send like a Sherman or something. So for now, I'm just going to establish my mechanized HQ, get that resource conversion on the go, maybe look to get a King Tiger, maybe use fuel conversion and get a Panther. Just keeping my options open and making use of that truck, basically. That was my theory with that. Pushing up with my infantry now. If you look at the mini-map, we've kind of taken the halfway point on the map and we're pushing up. Going to push the light guns up into slightly more forward positions so that they can contribute to any fights I take out there. Just checking out how Rodriguez is doing in the fights over there. And I'm sending 1 light gun a little further north so that it can try and help him. Both of my light guns... Oh no, sorry, neither of them are 1-star veterancy, so they do not have that range bonus yet. So, Shrek Volk's going to get in that building, just kind of creeping up the right flank, but I'm being so tentative because I should see some enemy units by now, and there they are on the minimap, a load of American forces. Volk's Grenadiers going to do what they can from that building. Storm Pioneers thinking about getting involved, but actually it would just kind of be a bloodbath if they did so. So they're going to take the building there on the left and try and hose down the pack howitzer I can see there. My Obersoldaten are making a booby trap on that point. As soon as they're done, they're going to come into the fight, so they're done now. Volks Grenadiers moving back in. Here come the Obersoldaten. They're getting in now, telling them to focus fire the MG team because, of course, weapons teams take bonus damage. Incendiary grenade comes down on those guys on the other side of the wall, and then I'm going to move that squad back. They're on 4-star veterancy, and that should have been a fallback. Keep your eye on Command Group 2 there, the 4-star squad. They are getting hooned, and that was a mistake. You can just see the last man die there. That was absolutely my bad. That should have been a fallback, and I neglected to do so on that squad. Punished for it. So I lost one of my 4-star Volk squads who had a Shrek, which is issues, because now my anti-tank has been halved, and I've lost a really vetted up Volk squad. You know, you never want to do that. So instantly I build another Volk squad, just instantly. I was floating the manpower. I can instantly replace that unit. Storm Pioneers trading for as much damage as they can, but then I'm going to pull everyone back because there's just too much damage coming in. And if I lose one more squad, I'm really going to be in a bad place. We're also conceding that ground to the Americans means that I need to move my light guns back. So you'll notice that I just micro them. Oh no, wait, apparently I'm happy with them where they are? Wow, okay, fair enough. That's ambitious. I feel like I should have fallen them back to at least the railway line there because the Americans are pretty close there on the right, but okay. I suppose I've got a little bit more time before they'd be threatening them, so I can... Oh no, there we go, I do move them back. So everybody's now repaired, reinforced, rearmed. Group 2, the new fresh squad of Volks Grenadiers, they're moving onto the field now. You can just see them on the minimap. So everything's coming together nicely there. I've got reasonable resource income as well, so I'm in like a fairly good position, to be honest. Just moving my units up into cover, looking to try tentatively to harass and or try and take a fight. Like, I'm feeling pretty bold right now. The fight's been going really well, so I am kind of looking to be on the offensive here, which is what I'm doing. As you can see, Rodriguez, likewise in the north side of the map, just kind of hooning forward. He's got 3-4 squads and a sniper there doing what he can, but he is quite outnumbered, so you can see his units beginning to fall back now. So I'm going to send my Storm Pioneers up to help him and a squad of Volks. Meanwhile, the Obersoldaten are going to garrison a building here. Stewart is spotted, so I ping that immediately for Rodriguez's attention. Got a squad of Volks there with a Shrek, so I'm going to attach them onto it at the earliest possible opportunity. There we go. Fire off a round. He's going to get some wounding in. Keep an eye on my fuel, by the way. I'm now 10 fuel away from getting a Panther. Putting the Storm Pioneers in that building. Obersoldaten going to come out. They're going to look to move into the American territory. Light guns are just kind of still firing in. There's not really any micro involved with the light guns unless I'm putting down barrages, which right now there's no weapon teams or anything, or no enemy units in buildings, so no barrages required. Just kind of treating them a little bit like mortar squads really at the moment. I suppose you can barrage with mortar squads as well, so that's a bit of a misnomer. But anyway. So Rodriguez now fighting with a Stug and a mixed bag of infantry against a pretty aggressive American force. You can see that basically both of the American players have decided to pressure Rodriguez rather than push on my flank. So realizing this, I decided to commit a lot more of my infantry northwards to try and help Rodriguez, and also send like one squad just to the right there to try and start capturing their territory. I believe, yeah, the Obersoldaten are also going to try and make a run for that capture point there just to the north of them. Light guns moving up to that wall to the north to try and help Rodriguez as best they can. And the Panther, oh whoops, I missed I missed the moment I built it, but as soon as I had 175 fuel, that Panther went on the build queue. You can see it's now halfway done. Obersoldaten get into a nice position. Now keep your eye on the Obersoldaten. I remember this. Keep your eye on the Obersoldaten. So I'm like, they're pushing you only. We'll send Panth. So look at the Obersoldaten, bang, they just got killed by a single pack howitzer round. All 4 Obersoldaten, 2-star veteran squad killed by 1 round from that pack howitzer, so that was very unfortunate. These things happen though. It's not the end of the world. Panther arrives, so as soon as it arrives I make it control group 8, buy it the MG42 upgrade, tell it to attack move into position using the minimap to go and support Rodriguez. So those Volksgrenadiers are outclassed and outmatched by 2 squads of riflemen at that range. There's no profitable engagement for me there, so I'm just going to fall them back. There's no point risking losing the 5-star squad. I'm up to 3 squads of Volks now as well, which is pretty good. This is a good map for Volks. Most maps are a good map for Volks. Here comes the Panther. Now I can't actually see any vehicles on the minimap, which is why the Panther has changed course and is not going to help Rodriguez. But if I was to see some vehicles on the map, I would send it over straight away. And it's just kind of kiting these American riflemen. The Ligs are getting good hits on them, so that'll force them back. And the Panther's fast enough to pursue retreating infantry, so I decided to go for that option here. Light gun's doing more damage, Panther coming in for a squad wipe there, so kind of mission accomplished. And I don't want to pursue too far because I just have no idea what's out there. Storm Pioneers kind of moving in. Now you can see that there is an enemy vehicle on the minimap, so I check that, and as soon as I notice it, I send the Panther across. Volksgrenadiers, just kind of, I don't know, just taking care of business, I guess, just all holding position, being my eyes. Volksgrenadiers are like your little feelers when you play as the O-Command. They're like your sensor network. You keep them fanned out in advanced positions where you need line of sight, because they can kind of deal with infantry and they can kind of deal with tanks. And when I say deal with, I mean they can at least deal them some damage and kind of hold on until help arrives. Anyway, Panther's going to try and do what it can on that flank. My Storm Pioneers were chasing that lieutenant, but they're going to get pushed back. Panther in a decent position, finds the Stewart, going to get some hits. There is an AT gun pinging him, but actually, oh, the AT gun has been killed. So that's not a worry anymore. Going to just move the Panther around here. I should have set it to target vehicle. Look, its turret went the wrong way. If I'd have set it to target vehicle, its turret would not have traversed the wrong way there. Just taking care of my reinforcing Volks and reassigning them back to the front. The 2 light guns are now dangerously close to the front, so I'm just going to move one of them back. A grenade comes down on those Volks. That's an instant fallback from them because I don't have time to figure out which way to move them. So both of the Ligs are getting the hell out of there because I'm kind of being overrun a little bit. 5-star Storm Pioneers, though, come in to save the day. They're up to 18 kills. They've been doing work pretty much this entire game. They've been, like, dackering. So they've been a very good squad. Looks like they might even get a squad wipe here. And they do. Panther coming back out. The enemy team has called a vote to surrender. And with that, they GG. I think that's basically because they lost most of their fuel investments, they didn't have much in the way of income, and they just suffered a handful of squad wipes, so it seemed like a good moment to GG. And I say thanks for the game, because I'm generally a polite person. As the Storm Tiger barrage comes down to saturate their base. So yeah, that concludes another first-person look-in, really. Having a look at the play of myself, it's by no means perfect. I make loads and loads and loads of errors. But for people who are fairly new to the game, there's probably a few things that you can learn, I'm hoping. And even people who've been playing the game for a while, I might have a few tips and tricks you might not have seen yet. So hoping that these videos are useful. Do let me know what you think of them. I'm just going to let the stats just come up in a second. So for those of you who are interested in the stats, here we go. MVP was the Volksgrenadiers, pretty standard stuff there. They're usually my MVP, unless it's a pretty atypical game in some way. Overview. So Rodriguez and my stats looking pretty even. Same amount of... He killed a few more units, but apparently I did more damage, so I probably took care of more vehicles. I didn't lose a single capture point, though. That's pretty good. That almost never happens. Volksgrenadiers, Storm Pioneers were nearly 1,400. That's pretty good. No other particular standout units there. So, yeah, that concludes this first-person live look-in. Do let me know what you think of the new kind of, I don't know, live look-ins that I'm doing. And, yeah, I will catch you guys next time. This is Magpie signing out.